Good afternoon, guys. We're back out here in the shop today. Trying to get a little done. It's Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Tomorrow I got to go get a load and take it to the Port of Brunswick. So, trying to get done what I can do today. I'm kind of all over the place. Sorry I haven't put out as many videos as I'd like to. I've been doing a lot of stuff. It's not for lack of content, it's for lack of having a cameraman to follow me around and keep up with all this crap. I stay going in so many different directions. It's hard to film and keep up and try to get everything done. Just today, trying to work on this, but I had to work on that first. This is my cousin's truck. We've been kind of working on it on the weekend so he can stay running during the week. Today we snatched the def system off of it, took the filter out, sent it out to be cleaned, put a new after treatment doser on it. Last week I put the diesel doser on the turbo, and the weekend before that I did the EGR on it. So just trying to keep him going, plus my stuff and all my extracurricular activities. It's just a lot. Plus there's y'all saw those old cars I work on for that gentleman. So it's there's always plenty to do. Always plenty to do. But anyways, today this boat had this big deck on the front. I took it off. I was going to rework it, but I've kind of changed gears on that, and I think I'm just going to leave the deck off of it, make a smaller deck up here, come out a little bit and turn down, put cooler life jackets and such under. And I'm just going to extend the floor all the way up here. That'll give me about 20 feet, a little over 20 feet of actual floor space, which will be nice. So to achieve that, I'm going to take the old deck and cut it up. They had a big panel here that went down to the original floor. I took it off already. I'm getting these braces off. I'm gonna cut this piece of starboard out. I'll have to cut this lip off, and that'll get me down to just a piece of flat 1/8 inch aluminum. And I could go buy a new piece of aluminum, but I already got a template of the shape of the hull here, and man, nowadays a sheet of aluminum this size would probably be over $100, so I'm cheap. But anyways, I'll bust these ribs off. It's not hard. We got welds along the edge. Take the old death wheel here, knock them off, and get under and pop them up. When you're done, you get this. Comes right off. These are stainless steel bolts and nuts here. I'm just going to whack them off with a cut-off wheel. Some of these ribs are already busted, like that one down there, that one there too. So give me a minute, I'll get this knocked off, and we'll flip this panel over and stick her in here and see how she fits. Alright, so this is what we ended up with. We got all the ribs busted off, all the rivets ground off. And I notched this lip. I didn't cut it all the way off. I might go back and do it. But I'm thinking maybe it'll drop in over this corner, and that lip will drop in against this face right here all the way across, and it ain't gonna hurt it to be in there. Be less cutting. Our braces that we just cut out from under the deck fit perfectly across here to make a new floor rib. That'll be nice. Get it welded in. I'll probably put another one right there. But I'm gonna pick this thing up. It's pretty dadgum heavy. Flip it over and drop her in and see what we end up with. I'm probably gonna have to come back and trim some off the edge here on both sides, because the top of the gunnel here is higher, is wider than the floor level. So I have a feeling when I set it in, it's originally this deck came all the way to here. So imagine I'll have to cut it off a little bit to get it to drop down in the side, but we'll see how she fits. Y'all hang on. Well, as anticipated, I set it in there and it's a little wide here in the back corners where the hull flares out at the top, comes back in at the bottom. You see right here. So I need to trim it so it'll fit in that corner down there. You see how it gets wider at the top. And if I was cared enough to do so, I could find a plumb line here and then measure the distance over and see exactly how much I need to cut off. But I ain't gonna do that. Just by the old eyeball, looked like if I pull a straight line from here right on up, like so, ish. That'll be about what I need. I'm gonna shoot me a line up here, both sides. Whack that much off with the old cutoff wheel and stick her back in, see how she fits. I'm also gonna have to notch this out a little bit more. I'm gonna have to bring it over about another 4 inches, because once I cut this off, it's gonna push this closer over the rib and I'm gonna have to cut it back. But anyways, I'm getting to marking and cutting, and we'll see how it fits the second time. Now, I did care enough to take the time and measure out my end point on both sides, so at least my cuts will be even, as long as this piece of aluminum's square, which who knows. But as long as it's square, we should be cutting the exact same amount off both sides, and we'll go from there. There's no guarantee that the boat itself is square, you know, when they laid it up. But I'm gonna do my best to make it look as good as I can. I do want a nice outcome when it's all said and done. So I'm gonna cut it off and see how she fits. We got our corners knocked off. Ease her back in there and see how she fits now. Hopefully she drops right in. I'm never that lucky though. Well, my side cuts work well. Pretty even, hugged the side pretty good. But my notches on the bottom weren't wide enough to go over those existing frames. So I need to notch that out just a little bit more, and then she'll drop in flat. Right now she's not flush with the rib. So pull it back out for the third time. I'll notch that out a little bit more, and then she'll drop right in. Now the hull V's up on both sides, so I'm probably gonna have to cut a relief right down the middle. So she'll lay in flat. I'll tack screw it in, go back and rivet it, and then weld down the middle on that break. No problem. Then we'll have a floor all the way up. That'll give us an extra, I don't know, 4 foot of room in here. So we'll see. All right, well, I notched my corners out a little further, so they should drop in over those ribs now. And was wondering, I don't know if this will work or not, but you know, the boat turns up on both sides, low point in the keel. So originally I was thinking about cutting it so it'll fold in, and then I just have to fill the gap in the middle. And I might still have to do that, but I wondered, I found my center, and if I just notch it. Just don't cut all the way through. Just relieve the there you go, the surface tension of this metal. Maybe she'll just bend in there. It's gonna tuck my corners in a little bit versus having it cut, and then it would splay them out some. But I don't know, it ain't gonna hurt nothing to try it. But I'm gonna see if I can get away with just doing a relief cut right down the middle, not all the way through, and dropping her in and seeing if she'll bend in place. Maybe work, maybe it won't. All right, I got my relief notch in there. It's about halfway through the thickness of the panel. Enough to catch it good. It's about halfway through. All right, we're gonna stick her back in and see if she'll bend in place now and act right. I doubt it. You know, I have to admit, that actually worked better than expected. So I got my panel in with my relief cut. It drops right into the ribs. I'm going to, still got a little tension on it. If I get off of it, it's gonna pop back out, see? But that's fine. I'm gonna get some Tech screws and shoot a couple of them in right here and right here just to hold her in place. Eventually this will all get riveted in, and I'll make a new side piece for both sides and a filler panel for the front. And man, she'll look good. Floor level's perfect back here, right there with my existing floor level rib. So yeah, looks good. We'll get this thing buzzed down, and I might lay the rest of the floor in behind it just so y'all get an idea of what we're going to be looking like here. All right, so what do y'all think? That's our new floor. I just got it held in with some self-tappers at the moment. Of course, I got to get it back out and strip it and paint it and do something with the bracing underneath. I'm going to put some flotation under it, but man, she's solid as a rock. She don't give an inch. I got one brace under here I added. I got to go back and weld it. But yeah, make me a filler panel on both sides. I'm going to close in the bow right there, put a hatch cover in so I can store stuff. But yeah, she looks good. I like it. Y'all might not be excited, but I am. Doesn't look like much now. It's hard to get a perspective of how big this thing really is. On camera, it doesn't really convey it, but it's big. From where I'm standing to the front of that sheet right there is probably 7 feet. So, yeah, man, here we go. So looking at what we have left up here, so I'm gonna fill this piece, put a hatch cover in so I can store life jackets and such. And again, it doesn't look that big on camera, but this is about 16 inches of depth right here, and probably goes in there 30 inches or so. So I think I am going to reuse this panel. Make me a template. I'm gonna have to cut it down, of course, and notch it, put it in there, and then I'll I don't know if I'll have enough to break that and rivet it back to that top rib or not, but if not, all I have to do is get a piece of angle aluminum and I can lay it over, rivet it to the face of this and to this lip right here. Be the same on the bottom. Should be good to go. I'm gonna hop in here and measure this out, make me a template, transfer it over to that panel, cut it out, and see how she looks. All right, I got my template all made up. I measured across the boat, found center on my piece here, measured the same width across, and got my height right. And then I just kind of exaggerated my lines a little bit because the hull isn't exactly a perfect angle. You know, it's got some belly to it as it goes up, so I exaggerated my lines a little bit. I'm gonna end up cutting on this one. And I gave myself a little bit extra to play with. Plus, I had enough sheet here that I added 1.5 inches to the overall height. So I can break this sheet, bend this end, poop, that way, 1.5 inches. And that way I can just drop it right in here and it'll sit on this lip and I can rivet it back across and everything will be well with the world. I just have to make me a little furring strip across the bottom at an angle, rivet it. Should be there. But I'm gonna see how good my eyeballing and measuring was. Probably not very. And we're gonna cut this thing out and see what we get. Well, that's what we ended up with. Panel fits in there pretty doggone good. I gotta do a little trimming on this side. But she sits on in there pretty good. I gotta take it up to the metal brake and break that edge over so it'll sit on that lip like it ought to. But yeah, we're well on our way. I'll get that broke, get it. Well, I'm not gonna rivet it all in right now because I still gotta do everything else. But it'll be ready. I like it. I like it a lot. I kind of had a plan for this thing and then changed gears midway, but I think I like this better. Instead of having a great big old deck up here that I'll never use, it'll just be wide open. I'll have a little bit of storage for life jackets and I'll put the rest of them in the console. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet. I got to do some more fab back here. I'm gonna take that bench right there, cut it up, section it out, and remount it here. It'll come up to the transom height at the lowest point. It's gonna come out 21 inches and go straight down, and it'll fit all the way across, cover the entire transom. I'll make a fuel tank on one side, battery storage on the other. The edge of my box will be right here at this rib. So it'll be covered all the way over, nice and clean. And I'll extend my floor all the way back to this point. Put a new piece of hat channel in here. It should be cool. Wide open boat. Everything will be where it's supposed to be, nothing in the way. Get her blasted and painted and we'll go fishing. But anyways, that's all I'm gonna do for today. But I gotta make a run tomorrow. It'll probably be a few days before I get back to this. But as soon as I do, I'll make a video, show you what I'm doing. Thank y'all.